The military focus a lot on endurance, relative strength, and maximum strength. Good, very worthy pursuits. But something I see so few potential military recruits or even serving personnel focus on is one thing that's truly necessary to keep them alive in a combat situation: speed. My name is Jim Galvin, former Royal Marines Commando, international athlete and 5 times Guinness World Record holder. Welcome to the channel. I've been very vocal about this for some time now, but I'm going to say this again. The thing that's really going to set you apart as a soldier or a military operator in any part of the forces globally is not your flipping best 10K time or your maximum deadlift. If you want true, real-world operational functionality, you need to improve your speed, your power, and your agility. So how do we do this? Well, let's get to the gym, let's get warmed up, and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, so let's get snappy. The ability to move from A to B in a sporting environment as quick as possible is obviously extremely beneficial. In the paradigm of a military environment, especially a combat environment, the ability to move from A to B as quick as you can is not only extremely helpful, it may well mean the difference between life and death. But luckily for you lovely people, the best way to improve your speed is not just to do 100-meter sprint repeats. With the inclusion of a few drills like this, guys, a few speed mechanics drills, even as part of your warm-up, you can build the cadence and mechanics that lay at the foundation of incredible speed. There are absolutely flipping tons of these to choose from, but I'm literally going to walk you through 3 today. So high knee skips or A skips like you're seeing here, guys, nice and bouncy, really building in the elasticity of the tissues, especially kind of that free energy return of the Achilles. 1, 2, or 3 reps of this on like a 10-meter turf is going to stand you in very good stead. Moving on to some nice bouncy lunges, a little bit of a kind of ballistic bounce at the bottom, then a nice explosive drive up with the opposite knee as you're going through, and then finishing off with some high knees. If it's lower body, obviously, even if it's conditioning, and even if it's flipping upper body, guys, finishing off with some speedy high knee drills just gets me feeling nice and primed and ready for the session to come. High knee skips, dynamic lunges, and high knees. Guys, this takes about flipping 90 seconds total. Nobody has an excuse to not be doing this. Okay guys, now the drills are done. Now moving on to hack number 2 of the day to develop incredible speed: primers. Primers are specific explosive movements that we perform after the warm-up that basically bridge the gap between the warm-up and the main heavy part of the lifting session. For lower body based sessions, jump variations are what you're likely to see here. There are actually tons to choose from here, but if you're not used to these particular movements, I'd start with options that have what's called a low eccentric load, basically not much of a heavy landing component. What goes up must come down, right? So a gentle landing on top of a box jump, as an example, makes a lot more sense than some flipping crazy single leg depth jump. Something will go snap. Box jumps, explosive jumps from a bench, or some from seated horizontal jumps like you're seeing here are absolutely sick plyos at the best of times, and they are amazing primers before you go into some heavy lifting. For upper body sessions, a slam is great for maximal activation, as is any rotational or linear throw, like the med ball rotational slams that you're seeing here. Really getting the lats firing, really getting the chest and shoulders firing. And for something a little bit more dynamic and ballistic, as opposed to like single rep and then reset stuff, this bent over kind of like chest pass, slam, throw is an amazing way to just kind of keep it moving and get a good explosive 10 to 15 reps in just a few seconds. Slightly ball bagged after that, to be honest. But seriously guys, the addition of these flipping primer exercises, it's like 3 to 5 minutes between your warm-up. So after your warm-up, before the main compound stuff, so before kind of the heavy lifting, goes a long way in just making you feel extra warm, kind of extra limber. It's amazing for really kind of mobilizing the tissues, getting everything activating quickly, and priming your central nervous system. So in addition to actually making you feel nice and powerful, you're actually prepared and flipping ready to go and lift more when you go into your main compounds. All right guys, so drills are done and now primers are done. Now onto the meaty stuff. To be truly well-rounded, globally functional athletes, both in the military and in life, we need to be able to move heavy things, right? But we also need to make sure that we're able to move them fast. So now we're in the main chunk of the session, moving in to your main heavy compound of the day. How do we keep getting bigger and stronger, but ensure we develop speed and athleticism in the process? Well, this is my method, right? So we alternate between 2 different approaches, week on, week off. Week 1, you do exactly what you're doing right now and what you're seeing me do here. Work up to, I don't know, 4 sets of 4 as an example. Whatever you're doing right now, 4 heavy sets of 4, as you would expect with no changes or alterations. Have that as your standardized approach for week 1. And on to week 2. We are basically going to stick with the same exercise. We're actually going to drop the weight down by about 20%. So if I was just squatting about 130 kilos, multiplying that by 0.8 takes us down to about 104, so round up to 105, and effectively complete the same rep range, but we're adding resistance bands in there as well. This comes with a couple of benefits. Number one, the fact that it's a bit lighter at the bottom part of the movement means we can really focus on that speed and that acceleration kind of out of the hole, or in this case, from the bottom of the box. And the second benefit is because the band gets tighter and tighter as we get to the top part of the movement, it cues your brain, it cues your central nervous system and your movement patterns in a slightly different way that basically teaches you to not just go through the movement and just fucking stand up, but to accelerate through it. And that's how we build the speed and power that we need to be as efficient and effective operators as possible. Okay, so that's 75% of the stuff done here, right? But the last thing that we do, maybe the most important of all. In addition to being strong and powerful and athletic and agile, if we want to be able to run fast, we need to practice running fast. At the end of your main lifting session, you've done your warm-up, you've done your primers, you've done your heavy main compound, you've done some functional bodybuilding and accessory work, which we haven't showed today, but obviously we'll show in a different video. And now it's time for your inner cheetah to come out. Now at this stage, it's important to draw a very important distinction. If you're benching 60 kilos compared to 200 kilos, it is considered beneficial for effectively both of those movements to look identical. If your 1 rep max is flipping 200, but when you're benching 60, you want everything gauged in the same way, the bar path to be pretty much identical, when they look exactly the same, in that paradigm, that's a win. When it comes to running, this is not the same. Sprinting is not just fast jogging. The mechanics, the movement itself is very different. You're a little bit taller, the knees are nice and high, it's a slightly different amount of plantar flexion, a much more aggressive arm drive, and the body rotates a lot less when you're going for maximum speed. So if this is the case and sprinting is its own set of movement patterns, we need to practice these deliberately and give them deliberate attention. And this is exactly what we're going to do now. So hopefully guys, you can even see this in my mid-30s flipping decrepit jet lag body, the aforementioned technique changes that I just mentioned. So there are actually 2 different ways to do this. I'm going to walk you through both of these now, but I advise option 1 if you're not too used to this work, which is what's called the rolling start. So start low and gently increase speed and transition from running mechanics into sprint mechanics, arm drive, relaxed shoulders, neutral trunk and higher knee lift. There are a couple of different benefits to this. Number one is that you kind of get to feel your way in to these technical changes, a more gradual transition into that movement. Actually tuning into how the body feels at all of these different stages of these movements. You can feel yourself become a little bit taller, knees coming up a little bit more. This is a huge benefit when you don't sprint often and you're trying to properly groove these new movement patterns. The second benefit is that it's actually a little bit less total strain on the body, especially your hamstrings, which experience a huge load when going through this movement. I'm such a child. A lower risk of tweaking something when a movement pattern is new is a very smart move. The second option though, if you are a little bit more used to this, is to focus on acceleration. Getting from 0 to top speed as quickly as you flipping can. The mechanics of acceleration are very different again, and that is not something I'm going to go into now. But whichever option you choose, guys, as you can flip and imagine, the more exposure you get to this, the more you groove the movement pattern itself, the central nervous system, the tissues, the level of elasticity in your tendons, everything becomes a little bit more used to moving fast. And this, again, is something that I just see as such an unbelievably underrated component of fitness. In the fitness industry generally, let alone the military, which almost completely ignore any technical training on this specific component of performance. Guys, I know that I've thrown a lot of information at you there. Any questions on anything I've covered at all today, please put them down in the comment section below. You have my flipping word that they shall be responded to. I can't guarantee within bloody 24 hours, but I guarantee you they will. And whilst I've got you, if you are enjoying this kind of content and seeing me waffle on, why not click on this link right here and go and watch a video about how I got on one of the SAS's most famous tests. Or this one here to see whether or not I would be capable of entering into the military in China. Guys, if you have not yet done so, please make sure you subscribe. Please smash that like button. It takes you 2 seconds. Any requests of anything you'd like to see in the future, put it down in the comment section below as well. And as always, guys, stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome. And I'll see you all in the next video.